Now on CoastTV News.
A seal pup on the move. This journey that this little seal took before being rescued, it might surprise you. Furry fun on the Ocean City Boardwalk today. The purpose and promise of this annual event. Another tariff twist with President Trump announcing exemptions for certain products.
Well, it was definitely a soggy, damp, and raw day on Delmarva. We have a few stray showers, drizzle passing over the peninsula as we speak, but we're going to try to salvage the weekend tomorrow with some sunshine before even warmer weather breaks in to start the week. I'll break it all down in my full forecast coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Trade war whiplash as the White House announces a major change to President Trump's tariffs. Good evening. I'm Christina DeRobertis. Welcome to CoastTV News at 11. We begin tonight with a new shift in trade policy. Exemptions on smartphones, computers, and other electronics now no longer included in that massive 125% tariff on Chinese imports. Maggie Vespa reports on what it means for the price you pay and whether we could see more exemptions in the future, plus why small businesses are worried about being left out.
The goalposts move again tonight in President Trump's trade war with China, with smartphones, computers, flat panel TV displays, semiconductor chips, and other electronics now exempt from 125% tariffs the president recently slapped on Chinese imports, with 20% tariffs announced earlier still remaining.
You see this headline and think what?
Yeah, it's a stunning reversal.
CNBC's Steve Kovac covers Apple, a company hit particularly hard by the escalating trade war. The tech giant assembles 90% of its iPhones in China and lost nearly $640 billion in value in 3 days as President Trump ramped up tariffs on the country. Apple not responding to our request for comment as the trade war whiplash increases.
They still have to grapple with how much to charge. Do they increase their prices on their laptops and other devices in order to keep their margins safe? Or do they eat those costs? We're not talking about $3,000 iPhones anymore, but we're not out of the woods yet.
Opening the door that other industries could see their own reprieve, Trump signing the order exempting many electronics late Friday night with no public announcement. The president asked late Friday whether he's waiting for China to initiate negotiations.
I guess so. Whatever it is, we have a lot of countries, not just China.
The president's about face on tariffs for key tech items comes just a week after one of his top economic advisors said this.
I don't think the word exemption is going to be a factor. I don't think that's such a thing.
Apple shoppers hoping this latest pivot keeps prices from soaring.
I feel like I shouldn't have to be checking the news every single day to make sure I can afford products that we've all been kind of accustomed to.
And while the new exemptions help big tech, they do nothing for small business owners like Anthony Bernis, co-CEO of Kentucky-based The Cooler Keg. His stainless steel portable kegerator is made in China, and now he says too expensive to import.
We're not on the NASDAQ. We're not part of Wall Street. Main Street is the one that's actually getting hit the hardest. But we're looking at what do we do in the long run.
Let's take a live look outside now into Dover from our Bay Health camera, and our first alert meteorologist, Chris Mastrobono, is about to join us for a check on the forecast. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Christina. Yeah, we haven't seen much in the way of spring-like temperatures over the last 5 days. We've been well below that average high of 65, a pair of mid to upper 40s over the last 2 days. It was a cold, damp, raw day. We had a few stray showers, 46 in Georgetown we saw for a high today, 47 Salisbury, 46 along the eastern shore, 47 in Ocean City. Right now we're holding at 43 in Rehoboth, 42 in Redden, and 45 in Seaford. We have a few light showers ever so lightly making their way over Cambridge into Crisfield, particularly across the eastern shore. A few areas of drizzle across Kent County. It's all thanks to this area of low pressure pushing off to the northeast, but you can see it's like a pinwheel just spinning in little areas of moisture throughout the northeast. Now, we're going to keep the clouds in place at least for tonight and part of our Sunday. We're going to try to salvage the weekend with a bit of sunshine by the afternoon. I think we touch upper 50s to lower 60s, so that is certainly a lot better than the mid to upper 40s we had today, and it's going to be even better. Unfortunately, bad timing for the 70s as we start a new work and school week in the Monday time frame, but we are tracking a cold front that's going to be pushing in late Monday through Tuesday. That could bring around showers and storms, and then we talk about even cooler temperatures midweek as we head into the Easter holiday weekend. We'll talk more about that coming up in my full 7-day forecast. Christina?
Thank you, Chris. New tonight, the Mare Institute rescued another seal pup on the coast today, and where they found the pup, it's quite unusual. This female gray seal, about 2.5 months old, somehow made it safely across 4 lanes of traffic on Route 1. She ended up stuck in the bushes on the side of the road near the Indian River Inlet Bridge, and Mayor says the pup has some bite wounds but is receiving care at the Institute now. Well, today was the first day of the Coastal Delaware Running Festival. The event started with runners participating in a 5K in Dewey Beach. Tomorrow, there's going to be a 9K, a half marathon, and a full marathon. And the courses for the weekend are known for being flat and fast, and they take the athletes through many of Delaware's paths and landmarks. Meanwhile, on the Ocean City Boardwalk today, four-legged friends were the center of attention. Today was the 24th annual Boardwalkin' for Pets. The yearly event raises money for the Worcester County Humane Society, with proceeds going to funding the shelter and expanding its services. Today, there were more than 200 walkers who also had the chance to do a scavenger hunt and a doggy dig for prizes. There were also adoptable pups walking on the boardwalk.
Shelter works off of donations, so we rely on our businesses, our community. We rely on everyone to make our shelter work.
And Summers says this is one of the Humane Society's largest fundraisers of the year there in Ocean City. Hundreds of people turned out in Selbyville today volunteering for Mount Air Farms Easter for Thousands. It's an annual event by Mount Air Farms where community members and volunteers pack Easter food boxes for families here on Delmarva. Today, members from over 300 community partners worked to assemble 23,000 meals. Mount Air tells us those meals will feed more than 90,000 people.
Very important for us to invest back into the people and the communities that we serve. If we could help provide a family meal around the holidays for folks throughout our communities, we feel like that's just a great way to show people how much we care and appreciate what they do for us.
And the Easter for Thousands event has been going on for more than a decade now. After those boxes were packed up, 150 community nonprofits came and picked them up to distribute them to families in need across the peninsula. Now to Georgetown. Police and fire officials there responding to an overturned car late Friday night. They say it happened near South Bedford Street. Police say the driver was out of the vehicle when they arrived and refused transportation to the hospital. In education news, the Indian River School District will hold its second current expense referendum on June 5th. The district asking voters to approve $22.5 million in additional funding to cover rising operating costs and maintain competitive salaries for staff. This after the March 20th referendum was shot down. And sticking with education news, a new bill in Delaware's General Assembly would require schools to crack down on cell phone use in the classroom. The bill, Senate Bill 106, would require all public and charter schools in Delaware to implement a clear cell phone policy that limits phone use. The bill's sponsor says the goal is to reduce distractions and improve student engagement. If approved, schools would need to create these rules by August 1st. One high school principal here on Delmarva says cell phone use is hurting students' ability to learn.
And cell phones have really changed the name of the game for the students and for the staff, but it can be a very distracting piece of equipment.
Now, some critics are calling the bill government overreach, but the sponsor says local districts will have the freedom to create their own policies. And we are just getting started tonight. Still a lot more to tell you about. Coming up, translation trouble. A weather alert tool in multiple languages is now gone. Why it could put lives at risk.
And I think we're going to squeeze out a 60-degree temperature tomorrow across Delmarva, as we're going to see some sunshine by the afternoon as well. We'll talk about even warmer temperatures to start the week as we go on a bit of a seesaw ride as far as the temperatures go next week. My full forecast here in minutes.
But first, we'll have a look back at our top stories from this past week when we return in just 60 seconds. Well, it doesn't matter who you are. We know it's easy to get busy and miss a story or two throughout the week. So for those things that may have slipped through the cracks, Charlie Sakaitis has your week in review.
Monday, Rehoboth Beach commissioners voted to end overnight parking the Thursday before the annual Sea Witch Parade. The goal is to prevent people from parking their cars in front of local businesses days in advance. Tuesday, the Delaware General Assembly was in session, and yet again, District 20 Representative Stell Parker Selby was not in attendance. She has missed every vote since the session started in January and has been dealing with an unspecified health issue. It's been a hot topic in Milton, where residents represented by Stell Parker Selby have not had a representative all year. Wednesday, CoastTV reported that Delaware voters might need to start carrying photo ID to the polls with them. That's if one new bill is signed into law. The proposed House Bill 112 would require photo ID for all voters. The bill's sponsor, Brian Shoup, says it could decrease voter fraud, amongst other things, but leaders with the Delaware ACLU chapter say it would create barriers to voting. Thursday, Delaware Congresswoman Sarah McBride introduced a bill she says would help Delaware farmers. She says the goal of the Save Our Poultry Act is to prioritize researching avian flu, analyze poultry vaccination, and fund farmers to prevent the virus spread. And Friday, CoastTV reported on another bill that Senator Eric Buxton introduced. Senate Bill 106 would require all public and chapter schools in Delaware to implement a clear cell phone policy that would limit phone use in the classroom. The goal of the bill is to reduce the distractions of the cell phones in classrooms and improve student engagement. For your Week in Review, I'm Charlie Sakaitis.
Coming up next here on Coast TV News at 11, blood clot prevention. Experts warn about the risks of long trips and how to protect yourself while traveling in tonight's Health Minute.
And if you have any brunch plans tomorrow morning, we're going to start off with a bit of cloud cover, and I think we do get a bit of sunshine by the afternoon, upper 40s to lower 50s through the early morning hours, the early afternoon. I think we'll squeeze out a 60-degree temperature. We are going to be pushing 70 degrees by Monday. I'll break it down my full forecast coming up right after the break. Well, I hope everyone is having a wonderful weekend. We could be doing better weather-wise. I know we did a lot of gloomy conditions today. Very cold and raw. We're at 43 right now in Dover after only seeing highs in the mid to upper 40s. Right now, holding in the lower 40s, 44 in Milton. We're at 45 in Seaford, 44 in Ocean City, and 44 in Bethany. You could see the winds out of the north gusting anywhere between about 10 to 15, especially along the coast. We have a 19-mile-an-hour gust there. Indian River Inlet. There's that high, 46 after a low of 39. We should be at 65 for this time of year. There's the record, 84 just 2 years ago, back in 2023. We have a small craft advisory up for the Delaware coast. That runs through about 6 tomorrow. And then we have a small craft advisory for the Bay as well as Ocean City down through Chickateague. That runs through 4 o'clock tomorrow as well. We have a few light showers rolling over the eastern shore. Other than that, we're going to be pretty dry overnight, but we still have this area of low pressure just kind of hanging off of Cape Cod here in Long Island. That's going to push up to the northeast, but the good news is we have higher pressure and drier air building in, and that's going to start to build in tomorrow. Cloudy start. I think we squeeze out some sun in the afternoon, 50s and 60s, and then we're warmer into Monday. Highs approaching 70. But it's a short-lived warm-up because we're going to be back into the 60s and 50s by middle part of the week. So 62 tomorrow in Milford. We're at 60 Easton, 60 in Cambridge, mostly cloudy skies. Winds out of northwest anywhere between about 10 to 15, 60 Princess Anne, and we're at 60 in Ocean City. So there's the clouds, maybe some areas of drizzle to start, but by the afternoon we see those clouds begin to break apart, highs in the lower 60s. Then as we go into tomorrow night into early Monday, a warm front is going to be pushing through the area. Could spark a brief shower early Monday morning, but by Monday afternoon, partly sunny skies, temperatures pushing 70, which is certainly good news. But as I mentioned, it's a short-lived warm-up because you see what lurks back here to the west, a cold front that's going to be pushing east as we go into Monday night. So we're at 70 on Monday. Cold front comes through, drops us down to 64. Then we have another cold front coming through Tuesday into Wednesday, and then that drops us back into the upper 50s as we go into Wednesday. So there's the front late Wednesday into Tuesday. Not looking at anything severe at this point. I think instability is going to be pretty low, plus it's coming in at night. And then we dry things out Wednesday into Thursday, briefly cool down, but this is a good sign as we go into Easter. And then next week, week after Easter, we're looking at well above normal temperatures as we go into that time span. 64 for tax day, but then we see that front come through, 57. Look at Thursday morning. Yeah, we're back into the mid to upper 30s. And then we warm up pretty quickly as we go into Good Friday. And the next Saturday, looking at 77 degrees.
Nice. Thank you, Chris. And, well, just weeks after the National Weather Service stopped launching weather balloons, it's now making another decision that's leaving many people with questions and concerns. The agency is no longer providing language translations for all of its weather warnings. And as reporter Johan Marin tells us, for some communities, this puts their safety at risk.
Last year's devastating tornado is hard to forget.
Actually, I was here in my office, which is surrounded with glasses. It was with glass, and it was pretty scary.
Marco Antonio Cervantes hid under his office desk, watching his phone for weather alerts.
I do have a lot of friends that only speak Spanish.
Cervantes uses the National Weather Service option to get storm information, translated in both English and Spanish.
We got those alarms several times that day.
That translation tool is what helped many like Cervantes stay safe that day. But now, it won't be an option anymore. What's going on? Well, I got in touch with the National Weather Service to find out. Their response: due to a contract lapse, NWS paused the automated language translation services for our products until further notice. The lapse comes as President Trump seeks to slash spending in federal agencies like the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. That's why no more weather balloons are being deployed in Valley, Nebraska. A former NWS worker tells me the translation services sent out urgent weather alerts in more than 13 other languages.
There's certain pools of areas that have large populations of non-English speaking people.
According to 2021 data from the U.S. Census Bureau, in Omaha, 17% of the population speaks a language other than English at home, with Spanish being the most common. For Cervantes, the decision can cause many non-English speakers to miss life or death warnings.
Their life can be in jeopardy, so.
Coming up after the break, we'll tell you about a testing shift, the FDA phasing out a long-time animal testing rule. We'll tell you what could be replacing it. Soon, we may be able to prevent many cases of autism. At least that's what Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert Kennedy Jr. is promising. He made that comment Thursday at a cabinet meeting, and here's how he says he's going to do it.
We've launched a massive testing and research effort that's going to involve hundreds of scientists from around the world. By September, we will know what has caused the autism epidemic, and we'll be able to eliminate those exposures.
And no one knows why autism rates have spiked in the past 25 years, but scientists think much of it is due to a broader definition of the disorder and better detection. They also say genetics and exposure to chemicals may play a role. Some worry that Kennedy's efforts will blame vaccines, which could have a negative impact on public health. Also in health news, the Food and Drug Administration says it will phase out a requirement that certain drugs and antibodies be tested on animals. In a statement, the FDA says it's taking this step because there are testing methods that are more effective and, quote, human relevant. The agency says one possible replacement for animal testing includes AI-based computer simulations or even lab-grown human organoids. A drug can get FDA approval only after researchers show it is safe and effective. Well, from spring break to summer vacations, we are heading into the time of the year when people like to travel. But if you're going a long distance, there's a potential danger that health experts say you should know about. In tonight's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither talks to a cardiologist about how to prevent blood clots in your legs during long flights.
It's a season of travel, and whether you're vacationing by car or by plane, experts say long trips can take a toll on your body.
Blood clots are very rare with air travel, but they are not uncommon with long distance travel. You're talking about travel more than 4 or 5 hours.
Cardiologist Dr. Sumith Alady with Orlando Health says a blood clot can be life-threatening. Symptoms include swelling, pain, or tenderness in the legs, especially if it's in just one leg. Skin may also be red and warm to the touch. If you have these symptoms, seek care immediately.
If you delay that and if you take some time, then that blood clot may have broken off and you're giving a chance to develop a blood clot in the lungs, which is more life-threatening.
To prevent blood clots on long trips, a lady says to take breaks. In the car, stop every couple of hours to stretch your legs. On a plane, wearing compression socks can help reduce swelling and improve blood flow. If you can't stand up, you can also try calf exercises while seated to keep the blood moving.
You can do some toe lifts or heel lifts, squeeze your calves.
A lady says knowing your risk is also important. You're more likely to get blood clots if there's a personal or family history of them, or if you have weight or vein problems. Those who are pregnant or recently had surgery are also at increased risk. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And the CDC says blood clots are typically detected through ultrasounds, CT scans, or MRIs. And they're treated with medicines or devices that can dissolve, break up, or capture the clot. Here's a live look outside into Salisbury tonight. After the break on Coast TV News at 11, we'll have one more check on your forecast. Coast TV News continues in just a moment. They're soft, they're sweet, and sometimes they're art. Yes, we're talking about Peeps. The Riverfront Arts Center in Stevens Point, Wisconsin is hosting its annual Peeps show. People submitted paintings, sculptures, dioramas, pretty much anything involving the Marshmallow Chicks. And this year has given us such creations as SpongeBob Peep Pants and the Green Bay Peepers.
Pretty cool. I like that stadium one there. Well, we are going to see a temperature of 40 degrees tonight. Cloudy roll nights, few spotty areas of drizzle, 64. We gradually improve. We get some breaks in the sunshine with some sunshine tomorrow afternoon. And then by Monday, 70 degrees. A pretty nice day. Now, we are watching a chance for a late shower and storm as a cold front pushes through. Get your forecast anytime by dialing our First Alert weather phone. We're down to 64 on Tuesday behind that front. 57 as another front passes Tuesday and the Wednesday. Cold start to Thursday, 37. But we do rebound for the holiday weekend with milder temperatures and mainly dry conditions.
Okay, thanks again, Chris, and thanks to you at home for joining us for Coast TV News at 11 tonight. For some more local news and weather, you can always find that on our Coast TV News app. Saturday Night Live starts right now. Have a great night.